Hello, everyone. Welcome to Breaking into the Business, an Actress Perspective. The Los Angeles Film School is so proud to host today's event. I first want to give a special shout out to all the women of the panel. Ladies, thank you so much for spending your time here today. We are so excited, as you can imagine. Shout out to everybody on Zoom and Facebook Live. And as always, shout out Last Nation. My name is Erica Braun, and I have the pleasure of introducing today's host. Now, she is no stranger to the acting industry herself. She's actually worked with ABC and Disney. She had a role in Gilmore Girls. And guys, my personal favorite, she is the news reporter on DMX's Party Up music video. She then transitioned into education, where we are so lucky that she has been a part of the Los Angeles Film School for the last 18 years. My dear friend and boss, it is my pleasure to introduce the Los Angeles Film School's very own Vice President of Admissions, Ernesta Mensah. Ernesta, it's all yours.
Well, thank you so much, Erica. And yes, I'm going to get you for that. I appreciate you, but that's a write-up. Anyway, welcome all to the virtual women's panel. I'm super excited, and I've been looking forward to this moment for a while, breaking into the business and actress perspective. Guys, what we're going to do is we're going to talk acting. And we're going to talk the business of acting, but we're also going to talk about the art of building multiple creative streams of income. When you're in a pandemic, when things are not that great, you got to know what to do in those times. And I'm excited that these ladies are here today. Listen, albeit it's virtual, but we get a chance to show this to you. And what I'm going to do is hopefully we'll bring these ladies back when the campus is open and everything is good. We're going to bring these ladies back so you can have more of a one-on-one. If anyone knows me, they know my heart, and they know that I believe in planting seeds, and those seeds are to help others grow. So any knowledge that you have, you pass it on, and that's who I am, and that's who these ladies are joining you today. So without further ado, and I'm going to do this in no particular order. I'm just going to do it because if I read their entire bio, we'll probably be here all day. So I'm just going to give a little bit, and I'm going to allow the event to flow, and you'll get more information about them. Okay? You guys excited? All right. Let's get started. I'm just going to go with the first one. First up, her name is Crystal Lee Brown. Crystal Lee Brown, born and raised in Philly. And listen, let me give you a little bit. A funny story is I was introduced to this young lady by a former LA Film School and recording student, a graduate. Yes, Chase, I'm giving you love because it would be a problem if I didn't do that. Thank you so much for that introduction, Chase. I got to give a shout out. She's an Emmy-nominated actress. She's an audition coach, a self-taped specialist. You may have seen her in a very, very small film, Judas and the Black Messiah. Not so small. But thank you so much, Crystal, for being here. Next up, Keena. Oh, we got a laugh. We got a clap. Okay, I see you, Marco. I see you. Next up, Keena Ferguson. Listen, this one is a special connection with me because she's not only a friend that I've known for a while, but she's a sorority sister. And Keena is a multi-talented performer, an NAACP award winner. And listen, let me tell you, her hustle doesn't stop because right before this, she was at an audition. That's real. That's real. You've seen her on FX Atlanta. You've seen her on Tyler Perry's Sisters. And I got a picture. Marco, find that picture from Sisters because I'm going to tease her about this a little later. Please welcome my soror, Keena Ferguson. Where's the clap? There it is, Marco. Yes. Next up, Nia Fairweather. So listen, Nia, born Brooklyn, New York. I have to tell you, Nia, you already have a fan out there. Raphael, yes, I'm telling her. Born in Brooklyn. He's from the same spot and he's already your fan. But look, let me tell you this though. I think there's a little Caribbean element to her, Ralph. So don't claim that too much. I'm just saying. Nia is an award-winning actress, writer, known for her riveting performances in the Netflix film A New York Christmas Wedding. Loved that film. And HBO's The Raw Effect. We'll talk about the short films that she was an actress, writer, and producer in, and that won some very significant awards. Nia, thank you so much for being here. And last but not least, oh, I'm sorry, we got the clap, Antonique Smith. Stop, Marco. Antonique Smith. Last but not least, y'all, first of all, my friend was in New Jersey yesterday. She's in LA today, and she's with us right now this afternoon. And I can't tell you how much I really appreciate that, appreciate you for participating today. You know how much I love you. Acclaimed artist, and in 2015, nominated for a Grammy. Most famous for her starring role as Faith Evans in the movie Notorious. And I think she sung all those songs, right, Antonique? Yeah, that was your voice, right? We'll talk about that. You've probably seen her recently playing Aretha Franklin's mom in Genius Aretha that premiered on National Geographic. Welcome, my friend, Antonique Smith. Good job, Marco, good job. Ladies, turn your cameras on. Let us see who you are. Let's have some fun today. Let's have some fun. Where are you? Turn your camera. I see you, Antonique. Turn your cameras on. Keena, Nia, beautiful, beautiful melanin today, popping. Listen, to all the audience, I'm seeing the chats, I'm seeing everything. Listen, I know you guys are scattered everywhere, yes? You're on Facebook, you're zoomed into the link. Some of you are on campus, just a select few of you watching from there. Listen, we are gonna have questions for the young ladies. However, we're gonna funnel, okay, when I say we, I mean behind the scenes, my friends that are behind the scenes. They're gonna funnel any questions that you have, but let me get the ladies started first, and then we'll ask those questions. I already see you in the chat. Calm, namaste. All right, let's get started. So, ladies, I'm going to start this off on a finish this sentence. I believe these are great icebreakers, so I'm gonna do that. For those, okay, I just saw somebody talking about my accent. It's not an accent. Let's move forward. Okay, so, ladies, finish this sentence. And we'll start with you, Keena. I'm an artist because.
I'm an artist because I was destined to be, because there's no other thing inside of me that I should be doing.
Fair enough. Antonique, I'm an artist because.
I'm an artist because there's nothing more that I've ever wanted to do than to make people feel, to make people happy, to make people cry, to make people feel. That's been my purpose, is just to touch people and make them feel things.
Absolutely, absolutely. Nia, same question. I'm an artist because.
I am an artist because it is my purpose and an obligation to use my gift to be in service of others.
Absolutely. Crystal, I'm an artist because. Uh-oh, Crystal, we're not hearing you.
Oh, mute.
Don't you love virtual? I love it. Yes.
I am an artist because it is my God-given purpose, and I'm a storyteller, and I love to tell stories and be affected by the stories that I watch.
Okay, okay. All right, I got one more. As an artist, I stand for. Crystal.
Oh, as an artist, I stand for transparency and truth.
Antonique, as an artist, I stand for.
As an artist, I stand for love. Love is
That's
everything.
it. That's beautiful. Yes. Nia, as an artist, I stand for.
As an artist, I stand for authenticity, integrity, and on behalf of all human beings.
Absolutely. Keena, I'm an artist. As an artist, I stand for.
I stand for humanity. I stand for vulnerability. and I stand for the stories that may not be able to reach you in your everyday lives.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. I lied. I said I had one more. This is the last one. This is the last one. So we're talking, just so you know, our students are behind the scenes. They're studying to be those behind the scenes audio engineers, music producers, filmmakers, screenwriters, animators, company business owners. And so in that, we all know that sometimes you have to generate income some other way, because at that moment, that may not be panning for you. So generating income when you're not working, my side hustles are, Crystal.
Well, my side hustle is, I also am a business owner. I own and operate iTape LA, which is a self-tape company that I run out of my home. So it also allows me to stay in the work because I'm helping my fellow artists. And I created it as a space for actors to come and have fun and play and release fear. So when I'm on that side, I know what it feels like. So me being an audition coach and having, this business to give back to my fellow artists has just grown me as an artist myself. So that's my side hustle.
Absolutely. All right, Antonique.
Oh,
my side hustle is.
my side hustle, the stock market. I trade. I'm a swing trader, and cryptocurrency, y'all. It's exciting. Sorry.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay, I'm not mad at that. We'll talk about that later. Keena, my side hustle is, or my side hustles are?
My side hustles don't feel like side hustles because they are part of me being an artist, but I coach artists, storytellers, filmmakers who want to create their own content anywhere from pre to post, because I've created a lot of my own content and that's gotten me very far. So that is, and then I've been a dancer and a choreographer all my life. So I choreograph for dance companies, for national competitions, anything of the sort.
There it is.
But I'm coming for the cryptocurrency, though. I'm coming.
That's right. Oh,
I'm in a financial group, and that cryptocurrency, I'm coming.
Listen, that's a whole nother meeting after this with Antonique. Nia, my side hustle is, or my side hustles are?
Yeah, so similar to Keena, I don't consider them completely side hustles. For me, everything that I do has to be linked to things that I'm genuinely interested in. And as someone who has an extensive background in marketing, advertising, and production, my side hustle, if we call it that, and my business is that I use the combination of all those skills to help nonprofits and other independent artists get their business off the ground and tell their story. And that looks like anything from helping them design their marketing materials to executing live events, to supporting them from a production standpoint as well. Because I do write I've worked on other people's script, I've co-written other projects. And I've also come in as a production manager on other people's sets when it's not even my script, but to help them out. And I've done that for independent artists and other filmmakers alike, because as someone who enters into this industry without having the history and the background or anything else, just really fish out of water, my give back is my work and what I've learned. And my business is around helping others who may be in a position that I was before, and a way of using the skills that I've learned over the years to help others and to keep that cycle going.
Absolutely. All right. All right. Okay, ladies, this is for all of you. And I have to say, there's no way you can know how many no's that you've received in the time you've got into this industry. So I won't even ask you how many no's you've received. What I will ask you, and especially now in this time that we're in, what kept you motivated? What kept you still going and still believing? Crystal. What kept you going, even in the face of adversity, in the face of no's every single day? Crystal, how did you stay motivated?
My faith, my faith in God, my faith and my purpose, my family, my friends. I have an amazing support system around me. I have an amazing daughter, my 10-year-old. I do it for her. So every day that I look at her, she is the motivation. So just surrounding myself with love and light and people who constantly uplift me and support me. And God, my faith, just knowing that this is what I'm supposed to do. And we're all going to have setbacks, whether it's a pandemic or life or family, whatever it is. Our job as humans is to allow that to happen and to keep pushing, find a way.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Antonique, same question. What kept you motivated?
I got a feeling that we are all going to have similar answers. It is definitely your faith game. I mean, you just have to believe that this too shall pass. It's a combination of just knowing that God's got you, that the purpose that he put you here for isn't done. And so it's gonna happen. You just got to take this time and sharpen the saw more. Like, it was so much stuff we could do. People were learning, we was learning. I even learned some new skills during the pandemic. So it was kind of a time to take and do other stuff that will actually help add and prepare you even more so for the thing that God put you here for. So that's how I looked at it, especially early on. I was really cool actually early on. I just didn't want to see nobody die. But my why, so faith, and then why we are all doing what we do. My why has always been my family. Since I was a teenager, I've always wanted to get to a point where I had enough money to really, really, really take care of my family, like to retire them to, so my dad could just be on the golf course and my mom could just be at the spa all day. Like, that's the life that I wanted to give to my family and take care of. And I have a big family, so it's a lot of people still to be taken care of. So the why is what helped keep me going and helped keep me making sure that when this thing was over, that I was better than I was before it started.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. You have to know your why. You have to every time you wake up. Mm-hmm. Nia, same question. What kept you motivated?
I echo everything that has already been said. But one of the things for me is I accept things as they come. And as challenging as the pandemic may have been, honestly, when the world is like, stop, for me, it's like to fall in line and stop, to be attuned and be obedient to that and be in alignment with that, and allow myself to rest, allow myself to process, allow myself to grieve, allow myself to, the first 2 weeks, I didn't realize how tired I was. I was like, man, I'm getting up 2 hours later than I normally do. I didn't realize how tired I was, So for me, it was just to be in flow. That was the biggest thing about it, to be in flow. If it, I was just in that space of what's the healthiest for my mind, body, spirit, and, psychologically, emotionally, for myself and my loved ones. And that's what I moved to. What's the safest? What's in the most reverence of life, right? Because while there is a pandemic, while it was a virus, and while there were lives, lost in, and we've had some losses in my family, but for me, it was about having the reverence of life, and it allowed me to have more appreciation for maybe the things I hadn't taken the time to celebrate or acknowledge. This is probably the most I've spent in my apartment. I was like, the couch, couch, you're getting good sit down. Yeah, buddy, listen, my desk is like having appreciation for that, and the little things like technology, to be able to find creative ways to connect with family and friends, to take that walk on the block, and that be okay. So for me, it was being in alignment with what was most reverential for life, for my own well-being and the well-being of others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, that touched me, touched my spirit. Okay, so before we go into career, because I know everyone is ready to ask questions. I want to talk about, we have a lot of prospective students that are having a tough time deciding on going after their dreams because of parents, because of naysayers, but this is their dream, to be filmmakers, to be music artists, to be animators, whatever the case is. And I have to say, I come from a world of that too. My dad's not from here. He's from another country. And when I moved out to California, I do understand what you are doing. This doesn't make any sense. I do understand. But anyway, what do you tell those students or even just their families as far as going after their dreams and allow that to happen? We'll start with you, Nia.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh, what would I tell them and their family? Okay, so I'm first generation American, so you're right. Yes, Caribbean connection. So all my Caribbean people.
Told you, Ralph. Told you.
So I'll speak to that, right? So there's two parts. For me as the artist, I mentioned before, I didn't come into this. I didn't know I wanted to be an actor. I was not a child actor. I had no ambition for acting whatsoever as I was younger. I enjoyed theater, I enjoyed the arts. So I wasn't on that track. So my family didn't have a sense of being like, oh, this is where she wants to go. No, I was not there at all. I was more into fine arts. I do ceramics. I've been sculpting since I was 14, and then went business, it wasn't there yet. However, I came to a point where I realized it was important to decide what I wanted to do with my life, right? And I definitely, at that point of making that decision, was, I would say, a little bit more encouraged to go in the business school, that route. And I think some of that comes with, I did have an interest in it. And some of that, I think that was most familiar to everyone around me. So when I was at that precipice of making a choice and decided acting, I think two things happened. And I'm going to say this in tandem. So for the parents, from an artist standpoint, I will say, be mindful that your parents may not know, they may not understand this journey. So any advice they give you is coming from their place of experience, or maybe their own expectations, right? So when I shared with my family, I think my parents were definitely like, what? This doesn't make any sense. What are you talking about? Like, huh? From where? Who? Like, where did this come from? Now, my parents exposed me to a lot of art, so it wasn't a thing against the arts. At the time, for me, it was such a vulnerable time. I took it personal. I took it almost as not being supportive. I didn't understand at that time that they didn't know, how do you even help your child into acting, a field they know nothing about. So I would say, even if it feels personal, give a little grace to your parents and loved ones around you. They may just not understand. You don't know, if they got a chance to pursue their own dreams or different things. So there's a lot of other things in that. The other side of that, because it was my own decision, it became a commitment to myself, to see for myself. So I will say, even if you don't have it in your family, if you have that one good friend, which I did, a solid friend of mine, a dear to this day, was the one person I told about acting and who was like, all right, journal, find it, was there. And I was just like my own little Deepak Chopra. That's all I needed. I didn't need a circle. It was me and him. It was just a line,
Yes, absolutely.
If you have that one solid person, lean in and be supportive of each other. And most of my friends aren't actors. I'm the only actor amongst my closest friends. So don't expect everyone to be doing the same thing that you're doing. Just really appreciate those who show up for you and insulate yourself with that. And in my case, I ended up going to drama school for the community, because that was my place to be around actors. I didn't have them in my life. So find those places where you can plug in and just have grace for everyone around you, because not everyone knows what this is. I didn't know when I was in it. And everyone's just trying to figure out their own things. And we assume
Absolutely. Love that. Love that answer. Keena, I don't understand what you are doing. This doesn't make any sense. What are you doing?
You know, I say, you know, I graduated from college on a Saturday, and on a Wednesday, I moved to LA. And that was my plan from the time I went to college. And so for me, it was being certain. It was being bold. It was kicking the door down when I did it. And it was allowing my family to be a part of the process as it was happening. I didn't have the same thing as you all did. My mom has been a dancer all her life, so she understood that. My dad was more like, I know this, you said you wanted to do this, but like, you want to do it 4 days after graduation? Like, you just gonna jump to LA and just live your life? I'm like, I am gonna just live my life, right? And for me, it is just about, you know, I love what Nia said about like, they just don't understand, right? Like, some people just don't understand. I mean, I have aunts who are like, so now what do you guys do all day? Like, you know what I mean? So they're not going to necessarily understand, but for me, it is about bringing them along on the process. But more than anything, it is about me showing up for me, kicking that door in. I mean, not wasting a moment. It doesn't mean you don't rest, but it means you don't waste your moment, so that you are committed wholeheartedly, knowing that this is what you are supposed to do, so that you aren't looking back and people are going, well, wait, but it's been 20 years and you know, you still talking about you gonna do something one day. Like, that you are actively pursuing this thing, because it is hard, and it is a journey, and it is long, and it is all of these things that are not like normal jobs. So if you aren't ready to come in swinging and be bold and show up for yourself, you're going to allow other people to tell you that it's not okay with what you're doing.
Great. That's great. Antonique, same question. What are you doing?
Your accent is amazing. That is so good. You know, parents, you know, they love you. They're just trying to protect you. They have their own fears, and like piggybacking off of Nia and Keena, sometimes a misunderstanding of what it takes out here. And so they're just, you know, their own minds like, oh, well, you know, I want you to have a real job, and I want you to, you know, have something that's going to sustain you so that you can pay your bills. And, you know, I want you to, that it all comes from a place of love and fear. Love and fear kind of mixed together. So they're just trying to protect you, and you kind of just have to let them know, like, look, I need you. I need your love and support. Just kind of a cheerleader. I need you to be on my cheering team, because this is something I want to do. And if y'all are like me, there's nothing else I ever wanted to do. Like, since I since I could talk. And so at first, it was started with singing when I heard Whitney Houston's voice, but I had a tape recorder. I hope none of those tapes ever surface, because I had a tape recorder when I was like 5, and I was doing the men and the women, and I was a radio host and the guests, and I was doing the theme song, and I was making short stories and doing characters, and I did puppet shows. So it's nothing else I ever wanted to do. And then we started going to church when I was about, I don't know, 7 or something, and singing in the choir. And I really thought I wasn't, at that point, I thought I was going to have to wait until I was an adult to pursue the industry, because, you know, I wasn't even allowed to listen to the radio anymore. I was, you know, I had to sneak and listen to the radio. So for the church kids, you know, and having parents that are like, you know, that's the devil's music. So yeah, I dealt with that for a few years. But then, thank God, my dad one day, the scripture, train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. I don't know who or where he got the revelation from, that verse isn't just about Bible principles, that it's about life as a whole, to train up a child in the way that they should go. And as a parent, you can see what your kids are good at, and you can also see what they're passionate about. And that's the way that you should be training them to go. Not, I want you to be a doctor, I want you to be a lawyer, I want you to do what I was doing, whatever it was that I've done, and carry on the business. What is your what's in their heart? And that's what you should be training them to do. And so You know, not all of us had like Venus and Serena dad, Beyonce dad, but you know, the parents do have a lot to do with it. And so if they're not gonna like full out like, okay, I'm gonna send you some money. And if they're not gonna do that, at least say, mom and dad, I just need you to just cheer me on, because the business is difficult and there are lots of no's, more no's than yeses. I mean, literally the ratio was like 99.9 no's. And then that one yes is really all you need. And you get them kind of spaced out. Them yeses come real spaced out. So you need, you know, not just your parents, but you need a group of friends. You need that group chat that's rooting you on. You need that. Like you need to, sometimes those cheerleaders in your life are the ones that are going to pull you along. Like you're going to get weary sometimes, and they're the ones that keep pulling you on the journey. So yeah, tell mom and dad, like, look, I just need y'all to love me through this. Just cheer me on, man. Just cheer me on. It's going to be all right. This is what I love. This is what I'm doing it. I'm doing it. So just, I'm doing it. So, hell, you know, support me.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I'm telling you, I wish you guys could see the chat. You're probably looking at the chats, man. If my dad, it wasn't until I actually executive produced and directed my own film. He said, oh, that is my daughter. That is her. Oh, where were you when? It's okay. It's okay. Crystal, same question.
Yes, I mean, I agree with my lovely panelists and what they contribute. You know, for me, when I graduated from college, I moved to New York City, and I was doing way off Broadway theater. But I was working, right? I'm a journalism major, so I was working for the National Basketball Association, and I thought that that's what I wanted to do. And then I decided to move to LA. And you know, I didn't really have that conversation with my family. I mentioned it, right? So when you just throw something out there, they're just like, oh, okay. And then I told my mom, I said, so I'm moving to LA next week. And she was like, okay. And she didn't believe me until the company that was coming to ship my car across country came to the house and was putting my car up on the flatbed, and she thought I was getting repossessed. And she ran in the room like, your car is getting repossessed. And I was like, no, that's the company that's shipping my car to LA. And she's like, wait, you're serious? Yeah, I'm serious. So I would say have a real conversation with your parents, and don't just randomly throw it out there like I did. But you know, my mom drove me to the airport and was like, okay, I guess this is happening, but was very, very, very supportive. My parents are very supportive. But really it's just having that open dialogue first. Right. The moment you get that in your heart, right? The moment that God puts that in your spirit, that this is what you want to do, or this is your purpose, or you acknowledge what your purpose is, have that conversation with the people that you love the most, right? Because all that is the only thing that's going to happen is that desire is going to burn deeper, right? So you want to share that so everyone can see that light in you, can see what it means to you, right? And I think that way people are more inclined to get on board with you because they see how passionate you are about something. And I know every family is different. And I know that, you know, a lot of artists don't have that kind of support. But also it's the lines of communication. And, you know, I'm from the school of thought of, I don't live for anyone but myself and my family, right? So we can't burn a dream and burn a desire because what someone else, regardless of family or not, thinks about it, right? We have to put ourselves out there and do it and give it a try and fail and come back and do it again, right? And a lot of dreams burn and fade because of someone else's idea of what that should look like, or someone else's, you know, opinions about what's not going to happen. So, and I've seen so many people, you know, believe that, let someone else's thoughts and ideas change their thoughts and ideas. So, you know, you will find people that aren't supportive on your journey, and that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. But do it anyway.
Absolutely. I love that. Great answer. Thank you, ladies. Great answers. Okay, I'm gonna switch gears and I know they're ready to ask you questions. Calm down, just a minute, just a minute. Okay, I'm gonna switch this to career specific questions for you guys. I'm gonna start with Antonique. So, thank you, Marco. Let's get her. Known for Faith Evans, this was a huge movie, Notorious. And actually, recently you've played Aretha Franklin's mom in Genius Aretha. Thank you so much, Marco. I love you. Thank you for finding these. But you also recently executive produced a comedy special. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's called Ain't Your Mama's Heat Wave. So something else that I'm passionate about that I actually use my whatever, my gifts, my different gifts in as a part of is my activism. I'm an artivist. I call it artivist because I use my art in connection and combination with my activism. And so social justice and environmental justice and climate justice has been a lot of my focus, because yes, they are absolutely killing us in the streets, but they're also killing us in our homes we don't have clean air and we don't have clean water. People of color are the ones that are most predominantly affected by the effects of climate change. And so, millions of us are dying from cancer and asthma and all these things from pollution. So, and it's the pollution that's causing climate change. So, my whole thing about that is just trying to inform people and inspire people to act and to join the movement. And there's so many ways that you can, help support. And so, and I'm, trying to get other artists involved, ladies involved. And so Ain't Your Mama's Heat Wave was, we went down to Norfolk, Virginia, because they're right on the front lines. Their sea level rises even when it doesn't rain and they flood. It's ridiculous. And it's a community of color, low economic community of color, which is predominantly where all of the issues are, and where all the most pollution is dumped. And so we wanted to, and some of them don't even realize that it's environmental. They don't realize that it's climate change that's causing the stuff. And so we went down there and they were inspired and energized because we brought 4 comedians and we had them put on this funny show where they talked about, regular random stuff, families, children, whatever. But they talked about environmental and climate change jokes, and it was funny. And so we got accepted into the Environmental Film Festival, and just really proud of it. It's more ways to, okay, we don't want to skin clad. I don't know where that slogan came from. We ain't skinning no cats, but you know what I'm saying? There's more ways to attack something. And a lot of times where it comes to social justice, it's sad, dark content. And man, Black joy, we need more of that. And so we took a sad, dark, scary topic and we showed it to people in a form of laughter. And so I'm really proud of Ain't Your Mama's Heat Wave.
Ain't Your Mama's Heat Wave. Congratulations. Okay. Miss Keena. All right, so Red Line. Okay, we've seen you in that. And Marco, please find that other picture.
I know you're trying to come for it. I know you're coming for it. I know you're coming for it. I knew you was coming from my sister. I knew you was coming.
And I love you, but I had to get you. I
already know. Listen. How many interviews have I done about this?
Listen, it's Pride Month. Me and Erica got our LA Film School Pride Month. It's okay. But I had to get you. Because I love you. But you wrote an article in backstage.com, if I'm not mistaken, and you talked about how to stretch your production budget. Mm-hmm. Can you give us some tips? Share what that article was about.
Yes. Oh, I was like, you leaped. So I was like, oh, wait, yes. Okay. So yes.
I just had to get you on that. I mean, we're going to talk about it later. I know.
Oh, she might be changed. She may be making a change.
Oh,
okay. I'm just saying it's been left out there now. So yeah, so in talking, because I've Antonique, and that's so great. I love what you're doing because I'm all about that. It's so great. Because I've been producing my own content for so long, short films, shows, feature films, had a distribution deal, all that stuff. One of the things that people would often ask me is like, how are you funding it? And so one of the things that I truly believe in is that you can have quality without basically spending like all your money. So without sacrificing the quality, you can still shoot something so amazing and so great. That's how I got my distribution deal. That's how I was nominated by HBO. And so one of the things that I talk a lot about is pre-production is one of those things. There's so many things that go into this, right? So that's such a huge topic, but pre-production and being clear on your vision. I think a lot of times when people are jumping into doing something, they have all these ideas and they're like, they want to do all these things, but they're not clear, so that there's a lot of outside things that start to come in. And then you're like, yeah, I guess I do need that extra crew person. You're right. My DP said I needed, I do need that. And you're right. I probably do need another location. I probably do need another day. And so what I try to get people also to do is to really see what your end result is and to see how you can take that and we can really streamline your budget so that it can be minimal and you can still end up on the quote big screen. And so I did that a lot for Backstage, wrote a lot of articles about ways that you can shoot and use that as a calling card in order to move to whatever that level is for you, whether that's director, as you said, audio engineer, whatever that level is for you and ways to do that.
Yeah. You hear that, students?
Yeah.
All right. Take note. Take note. If you guys don't know that picture, Keena is in Tyler Perry's Sisters, and sisters.
Sisters, don't you put no ER on there. Tyler Perry does not like his ER. He said it is called Sisters.
Sisters. And Tyler Perry and his wigs. But anyway, holding up a kind of thing. All right. We had to get you. I love you. Nia, let's talk about, okay, so it's Pride Week. We're going to talk about it. New York Christmas Wedding. Loved it. And let's talk about your project Four Seasons, though. Congrats on your win, Diversity in Cannes Film Festival. Congratulations on that. What was that submission process like? What did you have to go through to get Four Seasons in that?
Yeah, thank you.
You're very welcome.
New York Christmas Wedding, love. We could talk about that in film, but I'll answer your question. So Four Seasons, for those who don't know, I wrote and produced a short film called Four Seasons. Right at the top of January 2020 was the beginning of our festival season. And so we did the festival circuit this past year during the virtual festivals, which is the first time. We premiered at Pan-African Film Festival. And that was like the last gathering before everything shut down. It was like, yeah, oh, what just happened? So, and that's a journey, right? When you write and produce your own content, you look forward to all these different milestones. And so the submission process for Diversity in Cannes, similar to the other festivals, the aggregated space is Film Freeway, which is owned and powered by Amazon and IMDb. I want to say that's where the connection is. It's a really great resource because on the back end, basically you can so Four Seasons is a short film that centers around Charisse and Braxton as they navigate the various seasons of their relationship. And so what Film Freeway allowed me to do, which I'm the producer, I was the person handling all of that for the film, was to then look for festivals that I felt would be appropriate, either that dealt with relationships, that dealt with the character Charisse. I wrote and explored the notion but I wanted to bring to the forefront postpartum, women who experience postpartum. And so it was looking for festivals that address some of those issues, that catered to showcasing films with Black and brown people, and you get to pick all the different areas. So what it does, it pulls up a list of festivals that you can then look and select to, Of course, there's some that we all know of, yes. But for me, it was important to also look for some of the local festivals that actually were in cities based on where my cast and crew is from. because as someone, yes, I'm from New York, and being from New York, you have the luxury of having a lot of film festivals and things that happen there. But when you have folks that may be from Boston or smaller, not Boston is not a small city, but other small cities and towns, I was also looking for festivals in those areas so that they could represent the film, you know, because remember, before virtual was like, how are you gonna fly there? Who's gonna go? How are you gonna show up? You know, that's a part of your budget is the film festival circuit, right? So for me, it was like being strategic and picking places where all of us can go to. If I couldn't physically be there, could my actor go? Could, you know, could the director go? Could someone else go? So with Diversity in Cannes, I had the tremendous fortune, my first film I was ever in as a lead, The Raw Effect, had its international premiere at Diversity in Cannes. And not Diversity in Cannes, at the Cannes Film Festival, right? In their film market. So for me, I was familiar with the festival and the name. I had not been part of Diversity in Cannes, and this was my first time submitting as a filmmaker. So that process, I did submit through Film Freeway, and each festival makes it very specific how they want the deliverables, what format your film should be in, what assets they need, your key art, your poster, your trailer, all of those things. And so I submitted all of those assets that they needed in order to review. And then they basically come back and say, you're selected. And you're like, what? You know, at first, but the tricky thing was it was originally supposed to happen early in the year. And so you gotta remember everything stopped and we're like, whoa, wait, I just submitted to all these festivals. Sidebar filmmakers, festivals cost money. To submit
Absolutely.
to. You don't get that money back. So I'm like, so y'all gonna figure this out or not? Like, what's gonna happen? You know, what's gonna happen? And it's not just about the film. For me, it's like, I am, as a producer, I feel like it's my job to make sure that all of us get to celebrate, my actors, my cast, my crew, like everyone. So with Diversity in Cannes, shout out to Yolanda, who holds that down. Yolanda Brinkley is the woman that holds that down. That is her baby. And she was very transparent, you know, they made their selections, it had to be delayed. We didn't know what would happen, if it would be a physical festival or a virtual. And fortunately, they figured out a way to go virtual, which ended up happening. It was potentially gonna be in fall 2020, but it didn't happen until February of this year because it was trying to figure it out. So we just had our last festival showing at Diversity in Cannes. If any of my cast and crew are on here, I just want to shout them out. Love you, appreciate you. And at that festival, we ended up winning Director's Choice, Best Score, and nomination for Best Writing.
Awesome. Marco, where's the applause when I need the applause?
Thank you. So it was one of those things where that was a journey. You're like, oh no, yay! It was like all the emotions. We went there with it.
Great job. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, Crystal, you're gonna end this conversation. So Judas and the Black Messiah, amazing film, just all over the place when it came out. And I want to talk to you later about Call Me Candy. We're gonna talk about that because powerful. I saw it. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. But how do you get, I know that you're an acting coach and you do that, it was one of your hustles. So how do you get your client base? You know, when you first start out, or even now, is it more people now that they've seen you? How do you do that?
You know, it's really a referral. I started out taping all of my actor friends. I've actually taped Keena before. I actually taped Antonique before. Like, they are like OG ITAPE clients. And you know, I'm friends with so many actors in LA. It's really a huge family out here. So it became just word of mouth. And it's kind of blew up more than I, gratefully, where we actually opened up a second location. But yeah, it's really just about the trust level with with the clients and with my friends and people who, you know, obviously are booking and working and getting producer sessions and going further in the audition process, coming here and taping with me. So I'm just grateful that I'm able to help, right? I didn't have this service or someone like me, not to like say it like that, but when I first moved here 17 years ago, right? I was just trying to figure it all out, figuring the business out. I didn't move out to LA knowing and understanding the business. It took me about 5 years to really get grounded just in what is this industry about and how do I fit in? And then once I learned that, I started giving back to my fellow actors and teaching them about the business. So that's how I started before I Tape LA. It was just like, you know what? Now that I have this information, my job is to give it to those actors that's coming behind me so they don't have to waste, right? I'm grateful for my journey, but had I came out here ready and well-informed about the business, it would have took a lot of years off the beginning journey for me because I would have already came out here ahead of the game. And I didn't want another actor to have to go through that. And everyone's journey is different, but if I could have just added something, you know, on their tool belt and in their head to like, this is what you need to know before you come out here. This is how immersed you need to be on the industry that you're entering in. That's why I pride myself in giving that back to my fellow artists.
Yes, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Vanessa, can I jump in on something that Crystal said?
Of course you may.
I think it's great too, because Crystal and I have been friends for years as well. And I think the thing that we keep hearing is like finding your support and being there for each other. And, you know, we're all 4 Black women on this panel and we all could be going out for the same thing, right? But you keep hearing us talk about support and how can we give back? And, you know, even when I was in Atlanta shooting Sisters, Crystal was there shooting another series and I got an audition for something else and I called Crystal in Atlanta and she was like, okay, yeah, let's run through your lines. Let's do it. I was like, it's gonna be late because I don't get off set. It's like, okay, that's all right, let's talk through it. And that's, to me, the support that you want to find. So even going back to the parents thing, when you have that support and then you keep moving forward, even though it may seem like you're in quote competition, which doesn't exist, right? We can all be there for each other and help each other keep navigating no matter how far you get, no matter how high you go, because we all are going to have these ups and downs and we're all going to need each other. Yes. And I know for me, that was great to be able to be like, oh, Crystal's in Atlanta too? Great. Can I talk through something with you?
Absolutely.
So just remembering that.
Into that, I want to just piggyback off of what she said. There is no competition. The only competition is with yourself. It's all about you making sure that you are growing and just bettering yourself and studying and being in school and just taking class and doing everything you can to get better and better. But between us, there is no competition. And we do have to, we do that. Yes, you guys support each other. The competition is only with yourself.
Absolutely. I love it. That's why they're here. Okay, Shonda, you're talking to me. I have to go and look at questions. Are you going to send them my way or what? I don't know what's happening.
Yep.
Questions from the, yes. Go ahead, Shonda.
Okay, so we have the first one. I'll type the rest, but I'll read this one from Anonymous. I don't know their name, but it says, what does taking your family on the journey with you look like?
What does taking the family on your journey look like? Keena.
Yes, I know I said that earlier. And to me, what that looks like is allowing them to be part of the process, even if they seem like they are not on board. Right? It's saying, and again, when I say this, it's not asking for their permission. You're not asking for permission. What you are saying is, I'm including you in my life because I want you to be a part of this, because this is important to me. You're important to me. So I'm going to talk to you about it. So whether that's, oh, I had an audition today, or, oh, guess what? I'm doing this new thing where I'm taking a writing course and it's been really fun. And again, you're not basing it off their reaction. But so that when you get to that point, like you said, Ernesto, when your dad's like, oh, yes, that's my daughter. I love, oh, isn't this so good? Right? You'll be amazed at how they've been listening, paying attention, and being there all the way, so that when you get your TV show and they're like, yeah, that's my daughter, at least they can say, I remember when you took that course and then you took that improv class and I remember the day you were sad about it. And to me, that's what taking your family on the journey looks like.
Absolutely. That's so true. When they see that you're serious and you're not going to let anything hold you back, I think that's what happens. You know, with my father, it's like, oh, I can't stop her. So she's going to do it. Okay, who's next? Who's next? Shonda?
Okay, we have one from Marvin. So he says, with all of the no's that you get starting out, when you finally get that first yes, how do you ride the wave to make sure it doesn't come and go?
Mm, how do you ride the wave when you get that yes? Antonique.
Well, here's the thing. It comes and goes for everybody, because even at the top, you think of like the top. You think, Will Smith and Denzel and Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise and all the top, right? They can't all do the same movie. That one role that's in that movie, they have to choose between them two. So there's movies that, The Rock does and Will Smith doesn't do that role because The Rock's doing it. So even at that level, there's a no. If it's between The Rock and Will Smith, only one of them can play the role. So somebody is getting a no, even at that level. So the no's never go away. It's just something you just have to accept, that no matter what level you get to, there's going to be, things that other people are going to participate in that you're not going to be able to because they are. And it's okay, because not everything is for everybody. What's for them is for them, and what's for you is for you. So to ride the wave, I say, as far as continuing to get more yeses, maybe not, they still might be spaced out, but to get more yeses, that's, continuing to hone your craft, that's pursuing, getting an agent or a manager or somebody who believes in you professionally. That's really important. I guess it's probably, to get that, you have to have a little bit of, I'm sure LA Film School is helping y'all learn how to make a reel for yourself and all that kind of stuff. So those are the kind of assets that you need: photo, headshot, all the stuff that you're going to need to go take that meeting. That first yes may help you get that next level person on your team. So it's not necessarily about riding the wave to the next yes. I mean, obviously, when you get to Will Smith level, even the movie that he couldn't be in, that Denzel is in, I mean, who cares? Because he's still Will Smith. So yes, we all aspire to get to there. That is #goals. But at the end of the day, as long as you're being the best you can be, and you got your cheerleading squad, and you're, getting good advice from people, referrals, asking questions, because asking questions, like Crystal was saying, like learning the business and figuring out, how to properly network with people so that you can connect and make real good, authentic relationships with people, because people like to work with people they like.
Absolutely.
So, all of those things matter. So to keep the yeses coming, they may be spaced out. I'm just going to prepare you. They may be spaced out, and that's okay, because we've all had way big spaces between our yeses, but they will continue to come as long as you're still doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That's good. That's good. I want to piggyback off of that. Shonda, you hold the next question, because I want to piggyback off of that. Nia, so we got a lot of no's, we got a lot of no's, and we get to this yes. What makes you decide what kind of producer you work with, or this director that you work with? What's your decision making? Because you got a lot of no's, but is this the producer I want to work with? Is this the director I want to work with? Spike Lee be doing some crazy stuff. Do I want to fit it? What do you do to make that decision? Like, the answer is yes. What do this producer or director has to have for you to say yes? Nia, we'll start with you.
That's a really great question. And it has several layers for me. My biggest, I would say, discernment. I'm very discerning about what I say yes to. I am not someone who is easily swayed by someone's celebrity status or any of that. I'm not. That's not why I'm in this industry. I'm here to be of service to the stories that need to get told. And so for me, my first thing is the script. What's the role you coming to me? What is she saying? What is she doing? Does she have an arc? Who does she represent? What is her journey? What is your attachment to the story? What do you want to say? And then for me, from there, if I understand that, and if I look and I say, wow, this is something that I really want to give voice to, like a New York Christmas wedding, prime example, that script came to me. And for those talking about the wave, there's a lot of no's and stuff like that. There's a couple of things I say. Nature, if you look at actual waves, they come and go. That's nature. Accept that. That's just what it is. That's just the fact, right? Don't try to go against that. You try to go against that, you're going to fail. Nature wins every single time, right? On that point. The second thing is, if you're not getting yes, make your own yes. And I wrote my own monologues. I produced my own shorts based on my monologue. I hired and I gathered the directors, artists I had worked with before to get my own stuff made. I share that all in my answer to this question because I produced my own short, Ordeal, which went viral and did really well. It was focused on a young woman who was homeless on the streets of New York, right? Me doing that and then being part of a theater company, my work, I didn't know, while I was doing all those things, while I was riding my various waves, all right, as someone who hasn't had an agent or manager in my entire journey until 2 months ago, right? So those waves, that like those troughs was like, you know, like figuring that out. So I pieced this all together to say that when A New York Christmas Wedding came to me, the director of that film saw my work 10 years ago. From my own short, from the role effect that I did. He saw me do a table read for a play and remembered me from then. 10 years later, which was 2019, approached me for Jennifer and New York Christmas Wedding. I read the script and I asked, and he was like, you're my only choice. So that's a responsibility. And I was like, okay. And then I read the script and I said, absolutely. What story represents love is love, which I 100% believe in. It was being able to see a Latino father, Afro-Latina father who was supportive of his daughter, for a woman who was navigating and having the courage to love her first true love and having second chances at being her most authentic self. That for me, I can anchor into, and I was ready to rock. And while he, it was his first feature, he didn't know if he can get the actors that he wanted to. So all my filmmakers on here, go for your first choice. Go for your first choice. Don't count yourself out, because if your script is solid, we more than likely will say yes, because we believe in what it is you are trying to say and do. And that for me is the discernment and understanding what's the larger picture. I feel very responsible. The other thing, we get to say yes or no. We do. It may be hard sometimes. Feel like, well, money, finances, and that's real. That's a real thing. And then no judgment against anyone who's like, yo, I got to take this because I need to, pay whatever. I got to survive. No judgment against that. But what I will say is that that discernment and me being very true to myself and know what I want to say and what I want to represent and what I do not want to be a part of allows me to say yes and cue in. And when I need to say no, knowing that that wasn't mine. Right. And that a next wave is going to come and we're going to ride it,
There it is. There it is.
To go against my own integrity, because there's certain things I don't want to perpetuate. There's certain ideologies and things that I don't want to reinforce. I don't live my life that way and I don't want to. And so, but we get to say yes. We get to choose. And I think so often what I've learned as an actor, there were so many people that were trying to make me feel like I didn't have a choice. You have to just say yes. You gotta just keep working. Gotta do that. And I was like, well, what if this is not aligned? I gotta live with myself after this. This lives on forever. I'll leave this and y'all gonna pull it up on YouTube. Like, this gonna carry me till I'm like 80. So I look long term. I'm not short term focused in that way, because I truly believe what we do as artists and as the role of actors is part of an ancient art, and there's history there, and what we get to put out in the world affects culture and how people see themselves, and we can change. And so I carry all of that in my decision making.
Wow, that's real. That's real. Thank you. Thank you for that. Ooh, okay. Where are we, Shonda? I'm sorry. Time.
No,
Talk to me.
we have a lot of questions, a lot.
I
So
see.
Whoa. Yeah, there's a lot. So I'm gonna go in the order that I saw them.
Okay.
Okay, so we have one from Leroy Lubin. He says, how do you make the jump from not having credits to getting your first one, especially since casting wants you to have experience before bringing you into the room, but you need someone to give you that chance in order to get the experience?
Oh, Lord. Leroy wrote all that? Go ahead, Leroy. Okay. Okay. Woo. All right. We're gonna, let's give this one to Crystal. Crystal. Woo. It's a lot.
I know, I was rereading the question. You know, making the jump from not having credits to getting your first one. That starts with having a team, right? In order to get in the room, especially, you know, in bigger markets in New York or LA, to get into a casting room, if you don't already have that relationship, is based off of your rep. So your agent or manager getting you in that room. And then it's your reps believing in you, right? Enough to make that pitch or that call or that submission, making sure that your marketing materials, number one, are phenomenal in terms of, you know, your headshot is your marketing tool, is your number one calling card. So that's what they're calling you in with. And, you know, you also have to understand that casting directors, the industry knows that everyone starts somewhere, right? So don't beat yourself up just because you don't have credits yet. All of us didn't have credits at one point. But that didn't stop the auditions from coming in, right? If you have a team, auditions are going to come in. It's up to you. Your rep can get you in the room, but your job is, how do I stay in the room? How do I consistently get called back into the room? Because just because you're auditioning doesn't mean you're not putting up great work, right? When we talked about, you know, what's for you is for you. Our job as actors is to book the room, is to make fans, right? Is for the industry people to become fans of us. We're not going, and guess what? The best actor is not going to get the job every time. We see that on television a lot. And I mean, you know, I'm not saying that in no disrespectful way, but the best actor does not get the job all the time. And that could be based off of a relationship, that can be based off of a look, right? So many things that are out of our control. But you just have to keep doing the work. Keep doing the work, keep showing up for yourself, right? Keep being prepared. You can't fall into the mindset of, well, I've been to 20 auditions and I haven't booked anything yet, so nobody's checking for me, so I just got this audition, I'm just going to wing it. Like, no, you have to constantly be in the work and constantly doing your best. That's how you gain traction. That's how momentum starts, right? By keep showing up, and eventually that first credit will come. I can't remember, you know, my first credit, I did a lot of background work when I first moved to LA. And I did it because I knew I'm doing this so I can make the necessary connections with the people behind the scenes, right? That I can cultivate relationships with, right? And that wound up getting me SAG eligible. I became SAG because I worked on the Eve show, the rapper Eve, because a friend that I knew was her manager at the time, and his cousin was like, it was all about who you know, but also who knows about you. They knew I was new to LA. They knew I was out here hustling, and I just was trying to figure it out. So that's how that first credit came. But it's because I showed up. I didn't ask for anything. I just kept showing up, and it was given. So once you get that first, I'm going back to your question. Once you get that first credit, right? Like Antonique said, it could be another year before your next credit. It could be another 3 years. What are you going to be doing in the meantime? Right? Are you going to give up just because you're one and done? Or are you going to keep applying work? Are you watching television? Are you seeing, you know, what type of shows do you want to be on? What's your trajectory? And the same thing that Nia was saying in terms of what we say yes to, right? Especially as Black artists, I believe that we have to say no more times than we say yes. And that's just because the scope of the industry and what is written for us and what is out there for us to really, chew on to show our true artistry. And also understanding your yeses are the stairway to the trajectory of your career. And only you know what that trajectory is, right? Only you know what type of projects you want to be a part of that speaks to this, right? Or that's transforming lives or storytelling in this way. But don't get discouraged after one. I mean, if I would have stopped at my little Eve credit, and it took a while before I think I even got another one. I got a little one after that, and they just kept coming, but I didn't give up. I worked harder. I got into another class. Okay, I'm a little, I don't really have this technique down over here, this audition technique. Let me go take this class. I was going to commercial auditions, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, I need to get into a commercial class. And now I have a couple of national commercials under my, but I had to learn that. So where you find, if there's a weakness somewhere, get into a class to build that muscle, and the work will start to roll in, but you have to do the work in order for that to happen.
So true. Wow. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. That reminded me of an article that I read, and it was about actors and actresses starting their own production company, because the reason is because they're stating the focus. They want to be able to focus on stories that are being overlooked. And that's why they start these production companies, so they can produce their own. Is that true, Keena?
Yes, it is very, very true. I've been creating my own content since my third year in Los Angeles, because I didn't feel like I was being seen in the way that I wanted to be seen. And that started with a 3-person show that I did with 2 other girls that we wrote, produced, directed, and then toured that show all over this country. So yes, I believe that if it's not there, you create it, and you can't be afraid of that. There's always this catch-22. I need credits to get in the door, but I can't get in the door without the credits. That is the catch-22 always, right? So you have to I believe you tell the industry how to see you, you tell them how you want to be viewed, and you show them. And I agree with what Nia and Crystal were saying about no. Someone very early on told me that no was going to be the most powerful tool that I have. And it's scary to use it because you want to work. But sometimes that no is, sometimes you say that no because, for me, God, destiny, whatever you feel, knows that I'm supposed to create this other thing over here that is going to trump this thing that I thought saying no to was such a hard thing. And that has happened to me a couple of times where I've been literally in the midst of producing a project or doing something, and I had to say no to something else. And I didn't realize that this thing over here really was to step me 2 steps above that.
Absolutely.
So, so please tell the stories you want to tell, and don't let anyone discourage you from that. And if it's not there, create it and know that you will be seen.
Yeah. I don't know if you're looking at the chats, but someone that went with me, Elisha, to your one-woman show. Cool. She just put that.
Yes. And actually, she's talking about my one-woman show. And before that, the show I was talking about was my 3-person show I did with 2 other girls. So we did, I've been creating a long time. So thank you, Elisha. Cool.
Cool. All right, Shonda, we got a couple more. I think we're almost wrapping. Yes. Got time for a couple of more. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to blend some of the ones that kind of sound similar to me. So hopefully we can get as much in as we can. So I'm gonna blend. So Christina has a question and Raphael has a question. I think they kind of overlap a little bit. So the question is, how do you maintain your integrity in this industry? And specifically being females, was there ever a time that you said no to a project even though you needed the job?
Okay. Antonique, I'll let you get this one.
Hey, so I absolutely have. And even at times where the cupboard was bare and my manager was looking at me like, no, what you mean? Pass. So yeah, sometimes you really just have to. You have to know, you have to see your ultimate vision. And does this project, or does it working with this person, or does this person who has definitely made it clear that they want something else from me to do this project? It's all that kind of stuff, especially as women. That's happened a few times. I've been blessed to not have anything, like I've never been assaulted or had anybody, expose themselves in front of me. I know people who've gone through those horrible experiences, but I've definitely had some guys y'all know, some guys y'all have heard of. It's very clear that it was kind of like, you'll get this from me if I get that from you. And so those things I didn't participate in. Those probably would have been life-changing, leveling up things, but it's like, I have to be able to sleep at night. So that's on that side of things. It's about making sure that you can sleep at night. Cause you got some women out here that are like, that's all I need to do. I'm doing that. So it's all about you and your, what's in your heart, how you were, you. And so, yeah. And as far as actual work, Nia covered that a lot. It's, turning down stuff that just doesn't fit your vision, because it is going to be on YouTube and stuff forever, or now streaming on whoever's network. And so you don't want to be a part of something that doesn't speak to how you view yourself as an artist. That's where it goes back to. It goes back to you as an artist. You have to understand and know what you believe in your heart is like my manager says, he kind of broke it down as like, there's two different ways to do things. There's the Denzel way and there's a Sam Jackson way. Sam Jackson has been very vocal about how early in his career, I'm sure he's saying no now, but that he didn't say no to anything. And not everybody who said yes to everything has had a career like Sam Jackson. That's usually my response. Like, okay, I hear you, but Denzel was very selective, and they have two very different careers. And like I said, I don't think there's many Sam Jacksons who just said yes to everything and has had, the incredible career he's had. And I think that's a testament more to him and his energy and his vibe and his, his star power that he had, even when nobody knew who he was. So I'm more of a Denzel. I say no if it doesn't fit, if the role isn't something that I consider to be, that I can sink my teeth into and that inspires me and that gives me goosebumps and that I feel like, oh my God, it's such an honor to play this. And if it doesn't give me that, I'm probably gonna turn it down. Yeah, even if the check is needed and decent, it has to fit my vision for myself as an artist, because it does last. It's even when we're all gone, it will still be here. And so to me, it's very important what I put out into the world.
That's right. That's right. You're going to stand for something or you fall for anything. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Shonda, what we got?
Okay, so this is the second to last question, and I'm blending Matthew Morales's question with Tavia Krigler's. So Matthew asks, what are the most important things to do post-graduation if you're a beginner and you're getting started in the industry? And then Tavia's is, and what's the best way to go about finding work or representation?
Best way in finding work. Wow, that's a two-parter, yes? Okay. All right. Nia, do we need to repeat the question? Because I know I'm lost.
Sorry, I'm Linda, really, it's hard. There's so many things.
The question was about like starting out, and what was the second part?
Yeah, so what are the most important things to do after graduation? Like if you're just in the beginning of your career, you just graduated, what's the most important things to do? And then also, what's the best way to go about finding work? And
Perfect. Okay, but from a filmmaker standpoint or actor or either, I can talk to. I'll talk to both. So I'll say for both, if you're an actor or filmmaker, attend every free session at every film festival. That's what I did. I came out of drama school, and they're like, go out, get work. And you're like, but where is the work though? Like, where exactly is that? How do I find this? No one prepares you. So for actors, get familiar with Actors Access. And I say that because you do not have to have representation. You can go on there and you can pitch and submit yourself. What you will need is a headshot. So I say out the gate, get your headshot. Whether you have credits or not, get your photos done. Nowadays, you do not have to pay $600 to $1,000 per sit down. You can have somebody do that with your iPhone. Let's be real, and put it up, because most people aren't collecting physical headshots right now, right? Mm-hmm. So for the purpose of just getting up and started, and I'm the lean school of this game. Lean is my game. I am like lean and lean. So get your photo, Actors Access. I believe on like Casting Frontier, you can also send some stuff, and they vary by market. Actors Access gives you LA, New York, all major markets, and some smaller markets. And then some of the other casting portals have by city. You can also, Actors Equity, yes, although it is a union, they also have open calls and stuff for non-union. Right now, for all my people with everything transition, it's a good time to just see what's out there, because everyone is being a little bit more flexible on how they're casting and how they're filling up their roster for certain projects. So looking at those institutions, filmmakers, I will definitely say, take advantage of the film festival. Every film festival I've been to, either as an actor or producer, always has some free conversations, some screenings. Now with virtual, there's a lot more panels and talkbacks. So where networking may not be able to happen in person as they did, say, about a year or so ago, you can still get into these spaces, get the contacts, get their networking information, and ask, and still be in touch with a community. And now everybody, for the most part, either has a website or Instagram or some way to get in touch, which was not the case 10 years ago. 10, 12 years ago, it was like, man, let me not lose this business card because let me not drop it out on the way with my Metro card out the subway. Like, it was like real, like it was golden, right? Now there's a little bit more access to get in front of people, or at least express your enthusiasm or appreciation for their work, and connect that way, and not as many barriers. So I do want to take away this idea of it being extremely daunting and not doable. As I've already said, I am someone who has not had the agent or manager. So I was not necessarily always being out for pilot season or the different things that people would go into if you have representation. But what I will say, either, creating your own work. If you have that one short film, stay in touch with everybody on that crew. And for those who are in film school, stay in touch with all your classmates, because you more often than not, when you're filming, you're working on each other's projects. Make note of the actors. If you really like an actor, get that actor's information, build your own Rolodex, your own roster, and your own kind of contacts by what's within your grasp. I want, to really stress to value what you have. Value what's in front of you. Don't look over here what you think someone else has, because for me, when it came to my own short, I went to the sound person who was the sound on something else I worked on and said, how do I hire you? How do I hire you? And just ask those questions. But there's so many options right now for free access to connect, that, and you have a website, have your Instagram, have places where people can find you, and play around, do a monologue, write something, shoot something, and put it out there. I mean, people are doing these amazing videos. I'm like, what? That's it? Like, that's amazing, but yet I'm stuck watching. So, I just want to say, be as creative. Don't just let your imagination go. Don't cut it off before you've had time to just flourish in your own space. Everybody's doing everything in their own lane. Create your own. and let that look different, let that be different, and know that you're going to have the waves, regardless of what, you're going to have the waves.
Great answer. Great answer. Is that it, Shonda?
Okay, last one.
Last one. Okay.
Okay, this is a blend of 3 different questions I got, but they're all about balance. How do you balance your life with your family, your daily responsibilities, and also how do you balance that with pursuing your dreams, especially with the risks that come with it, like making ends meet?
Mm. Keena.
Yes. I've come into this thing lately where I say there is no balance. I just don't, this world that, you're like, yes, I'm working. Yes, I'm being the best mom. Yes, I'm being the best wife and the best daughter and the best friend and the best writer and the best producer and the best director. And I'm doing all of that flawlessly. I just don't know that is happening. So for me, what I've said is, how am I doing what I'm doing in the present moment to its fullest maximum potential? So that, as opposed to being here at this panel with you all, and I have a newborn and a toddler, and thinking about that and thinking about my audition I just left, how can I be 100% present here and be with you all? And that's what I'm doing on set. That's what I'm doing when I'm studying, so that, as opposed to my time being so split all the time, thinking about a million things, it helps me, I love what Nia said earlier about being in flow. That helps to keep me in flow, to just be present as ever in whatever it is that I'm doing, and doing it to its maximum potential. Now, what does that look like logistically? To me, I'm a deadline person and a time person. So, not that I have this down perfectly, but for me, what that looks like is, okay, maybe what I'm doing right now is I'm spending 1 hour strictly working on, some reading a script. And that's all I'm doing in that 1 hour. I'm not doing anything else. And then this next hour I'm going to spend, if people were asking about getting an agent, researching agents, researching what is a great agent for me, who has, the type of people that I want to, be represented by. And I'm only doing that for that hour, and so on and so forth. So that each time that I'm spending towards something is really getting done, and it's really getting done, again, to its maximum, as opposed to this I'm kind of doing it, but I'm also like checking Facebook and I didn't get to finish it, and I have so much. Like, for me, that is what is essential. And also, you just get more enjoyment out of everything that you're doing when you're just present doing it. Is it easy? No. Can it be hard? Yes. But I think, for me, sometimes what I say is, like, I just start laughing and I'm like, this is crazy and hard and ridiculous, but I'll remember this moment for a role. I'll remember this moment when I read a script and they say, this girl is all over the place and she can't figure out how to settle down. I'm like, yep, I'll remember this moment right now to put that into a role later. And I kind of always do that. And that kind of helps me to lighten it up. And to just remember that life can be chaos, life can be messy, and it can also be beautiful. And we just have to be present in it.
Awesome. Well, listen, I for one just wanted to say how grateful and how much I'm appreciative for all of you being here today. I do have one last, we're going to end this by asking, what is on the horizon for each and every one of you, or what do you hope to be on the horizon as the world begins to open, because it's happening? I guess we're going to know on the 15th of next week what California looks like, but where do you hope to go at this moment and beyond? Keena, I'll start with you.
What do I hope for? Well, listen, I said all that, and I'm hoping for a lot of bookings, right? A lot of bookings. Said all that, and I want a lot of bookings. It also looks like I just directed something that's taking its own legs. So I'm going to be directing a couple other projects coming up. I do a ton of voiceover for a bunch of stuff. So I have some new video games coming out that I'm voicing, and some new commercials that I can't even say, but it's coming. And and then, I want to take what we did in the pandemic, which was like really spend time with family, really still recalibrate. I want to take that into this new opening so that I can stay, centered. Yeah. and just loving the work, loving what I'm doing, loving all this creating that I'm doing, and
Yes.
maximizing that with time with family and friends and all that life has. That's all I got.
We'll take it. We'll take it. Crystal, what's
Yes.
next?
You know, I was so blessed and fortunate during the pandemic to work consistently throughout the shutdown, which I know as artists, we were just like, what are we going to do? But the fact that I was able to work, stay healthy, be on safe sets and all that was just, it was a blessing and it was a huge gift. So with each of those jobs, I was taking momentum with me, right? So now I'm just continuing the momentum. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the momentum continues. But knowing that I am the conductor of that momentum. I am the conductor of that train, right? Me cultivating relationships and being positive and hopeful and knowing that I'm always in the work and I'm always about the work and I'm always going to do the work. The family aspect of it, even though I was working, I was able to spend a lot of time with my family, which was great because I think as all of us, we didn't have that before because life was just so fast, was going so fast. So I look forward to spending more time. I look forward to the summer. Today was my daughter's last day of school. So now I'm like, okay, what are we doing for the summer? But I'm excited to spend that time with her, with my husband, and also to look forward to the second half of the year that is going to be as busy as the first half, God willing. So that's what's on the horizon for me. I have a show coming out in the fall that I'm excited about. And yeah, just, you know, and my birthday is Sunday. So I'm not going outside though, but
happy early life day.
Yes, thank you. Bringing in another year of love, life, and abundance. So that is what's on the horizon for me.
Absolutely. Claim it. Absolutely. Nia, what's next?
Wow. Well, one, thank you so much for the invitation to be here. I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. And with you lovely ladies, so many gems. In this moment, I'm just grateful. So I think moving forward is continuing to be in a place of gratitude for each moment moving forward. And for me, it is taking all the things I discovered during quarantine. I had a coach who said to me very early on, don't make this your God. Don't make this industry, this work your God. And that really, I felt like when everything slowed down, you get to see what was your God and what wasn't. And it was such a blessing to be in flow with that and to recognize that life is going to have these different things. And while no one expected the pandemic to happen, it's asking us to shift. So I completely have let go of life as we knew it. That doesn't exist anymore. And I'm just really excited to build anew. I'm really ready just for whatever's new, whatever's next, whatever's fresh, whatever new ideas, whatever new collaborations, the skills and talents and gifts. I'm like, girl, you've been having this right here. Let me go use that and help somebody else. You know, during the pandemic, I still was out there serving our homeless and unhoused neighbors, you know, and you know, that service and that work continues, you know, and making sure that they have what they need, making sure that they can be safe while vaccines may or may not be as readily available, you know, for that community. But if we're talking about keeping everyone safe, let's be real. Let's try it out, right? So for me, that's one aspect of it. On a work front, I am writing on a couple projects. And so one script is done. I have, for 4 seasons, I've written the treatment for it as a TV series. So that's completely done. And I found out not too long ago that it is gonna be premiering sometime very soon on TV. I can't say until that they announce. So I'm just really grateful for that, and just continuing to see my own vision through, and seeing where I can be of service to others, to other artists, and just my fellow neighbors. And with my family, growing up first generation American, I'm used to not having most of my family be near. And I never thought about really taking just how that equipped me a little bit more for the distance. And yet having already know how you have to cultivate and keep the closeness even when you're apart. And that there's not that many things that we thought before. You can create connection in such small moments. And so for me, it's to maintain those discoveries and connections in everything that I do.
Absolutely. Touch my heart. Antonique, what's next? What we doing? Antonique, where did
My bad. I was saying immediately next, tomorrow, Disney and Nat Geo invited me to sing at the Rose Bowl Stadium for their FYC. Thank you. Genius Aretha, it's Emmy season, so they're doing the FYC for your consideration stuff, and I'm singing. So that's the first immediate next thing that's going to happen. And I'm developing a few television and film projects as a producer and actor, but as a producer. And so I'm excited about that. I'm also planning on getting back in the studio and doing another EP or album or something. I haven't quite fleshed out how deep I want to go with it, like, how many songs, all that. I got to kind of get into it. I haven't focused on music at all during the pandemic. So I'm, gonna put my focus back on that at some point soon. And man, just living in joy and peace and loving on my family and friends, and just grateful that, they're all alive and safe and well, and knowing that like the best is yet to come. I'm excited about whatever else presents itself to me, and I'm happy that I'm ready for it. Because there's definitely been times in the past where certain things were presented or opportunity came and I wasn't quite prepared. And, now I just stay ready, and I'm so ready, and I'm just so excited, just happy to be alive. And this was so wonderful. And y'all ladies are all extraordinary, and y'all keep in touch with folks, especially the LA Film School. I did a short film. Ryan Coogler was in USC. And I did a short film with him, and I didn't keep in touch. So keep in touch, because your Ryan Coogler is in the class with you. So keep in touch, y'all. Like, keep in touch. Yes, that's my sense. I love y'all. This was really wonderful, and I hope.
Listen, we're bringing all of you guys back when the school opens.
Let's go.
When everything opens back again, we want to take you on a tour and let you see, all the different buildings, everything that we had. Now, I wanted to ask, do you need some backup singer? Do you have to know how to sing backup? Because,
Get it,
no.
Come on.
As I tell my students every day, and I tell my employees, it's already a beautiful day because we woke up in it. And I tell my students, always be creative, because your dreams matter. And that's how I want to end this show. And I want to thank you all one by one. We're going to put up everybody's social, all the panelists today will put up their social. Marco, I see everybody's still typing. So we'll put up their social so you can reach out to them, be kind, be professional. Don't ask to be in every project. They're saving space for me first, but thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. But guys, have a great day. And always be creating.
Thank you, everyone. This was great.